Good morning and welcome everyone to the Trading Success Blueprint, the Beginners Online Trading webinar. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today, and we will explain how the webinar is going to happen. First part will be more of an introduction to the company, to the services we have in this facility, which is, by the way, called a web trader. It's not a platform that you need to download or install or anything like that. You can access it freely through our website, just by logging in with your email and password. So the first part will be more of an introduction to this facility, and the second part will be the majority of the webinar, which we will speak about what we see here to the right panel, and we will also speak about the toolbar and as well basic essentials to trade. Okay, we're not, of course, it's useful for advanced traders as well, but the focus here is for beginners and really to constructing the foundations. All right, and maybe there will be a third part. Again, if we'll have spare time and we have extra time for analysis, we'll do some analysis. But again, nothing too crazy, really just the approach and the introduction to the two types, fundamental and technical analysis. Also, everything that is mentioned, all the capital materials and the trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice recommendation or a suggestion. Now, I understand that because we're limited in time, sometimes we want to watch the webinar again, okay, to see the recorded version. And this webinar is recorded and it will be uploaded to YouTube, to our channel. So to see the webinar again, if there is a part you would like to recap in your own time, in your own pace, you can just go to our YouTube channel and you will find the recording of this webinar. And not only that, you'll find a lot of useful content that is there for analysis and for different subject as well. We'll just get ourselves somewhere for the notes so we can, there we go. Okay, and like I said, we will open the webinar with an introduction to the company. So as you know, AvaTrade is a regulated company. We're here since 2006. We have 9 licenses worldwide. This is, like I said, this is the platform that can be found on the website. This is the default page, how it looks like. This is the desktop version, by the way, but we also have it in the app. It's called the AvaTrade's trading app. Okay, if you got a question or query along the way, you can contact the customer service right here at the bottom left or on the WhatsApp, whatever you prefer. Of course, if you're using a different interface, this button may not be. So you can contact them directly to cs at avatrade.com. Okay, this is all the things related to customer service. This is how you can reach out. And regarding trading, you got a senior account manager that can be assigned on your file, depending on the eligibility of your account. And if it hasn't happened automatically after you've made a deposit, you can just ask customer service for your account manager to contact you and then to receive your assistance. So customer service will assist with customer service naturally, and a senior account manager will assist with everything related to trading. Okay, also your account, risk money management, any kind of calculations for your trades, getting more familiar with the platform, basically everything you can imagine, senior account manager is capable of assisting you with no extra charge. And let's proceed. Before we proceed with the web trader, which will carry on the rest of the webinar, I would like to also write down the other platforms we have and to also tell you guys that the other platforms that we have interact also with the platform we're seeing now. So that means you can trade on MetaTrader 4 and review it right here if you go to your positions, and same with MetaTrader 5. And you can as well trade here and review it on MetaTrader 4 or 5. Which is extremely useful because in this interface I'm going to show you there are certain tools that are very useful which cannot be found on MT4. And yeah, it depends on what you're used to and of course what's more comfortable, but it's very useful to know that you can do that. The platforms are interacting with each other. Now, other options is not something we're going to speak about because there is no point in this webinar. It's a different concept of trading. Ava Social is very useful because it has two main features: to follow and to copy another trader. Of course, as a beginner, I don't always have a constructed strategy that I can begin with, or some kind of a plan. And following another trader with experience is obviously very educating because I can. What happens when you follow another trader is you get notifications with the positions that he took. And you can have your own research and you can see what the result will be without to even trade, just by following another trader. But it's not going to execute any positions automatically. However, with copy from the other end, if I'm copying another trader, what will happen is the positions will be executed automatically on my behalf, similarly to the trader that I'm copying. Okay, in difference from following, because in following I'm only getting messages. With copy, it's actively automatic trading. It's automatic. I don't have to do anything. And a few things, of course, I would recommend before going with this function is what you can do in the app is you can adjust the lot size. Okay, so if, for instance, you're copying another trader with a different balance, which is natural, right? I'm with 10,000, I'm copying someone with 20 or 50 as an example. Of course, there is a possibility that my account will not be able to withstand the margin. We still haven't learned about margin, but there is a possibility that my account will not have the necessary amount to trade the same as the bigger amount, right? If I'm copying another trader with 50,000, he might take bigger trades than I can. So what I can do in Ava Social is I can set a lot size that will be smaller. This way I can assess the strategy if it's good, and I'll be capable to take the positions, right? Of course, I don't have to do that, and then it will copy the strategy exactly as it is. But I have the possibility to customize the lot size, which lets me in the first step examine what I do and then to take a decision, which I find extremely useful. But of course, it's up to you guys. Yeah, the app itself is free, so there is really no need to download the app and see. I think it's very useful, especially for beginners, but of course, intermediate and advanced traders can use it as well. All right, let's carry on with the rest of the services. As we mentioned, the platforms I wrote up here. Keep in mind that what I'm going to show you now is only services that you can find in here. So don't try and find it in the MT4, MT5, because they are unique to this interface. The first thing that I would like to begin with is this unique feature called Overprotect. Just a second, let's choose another instrument. Just a second. Maybe let's take gold. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's available now, and that's completely fine. So let's carry on with the rest of the features. Right in here, as you can see, we have a bunch of icons. Each is taking you to another interface. This one is for you to review your details, your accounts, your account number, and all the personal details. Underneath, you have trades, which we are at right now. And by clicking on the icon at the top, you will also get to the default screen. So it doesn't matter where you are on the website. You can just click here and it will throw you back to the initial, to here. Positions, we already saw that. This is where I can review the positions I have in here if I have pending orders or anything like that. So it will be presented in here. History, let's speak for itself. This is, let's stay on that for a moment. Let's stay on that for a moment. I think it's worth mentioning the signal section. Before I will explain about the signals, I just would like to say that this is again the desktop version, okay, of the web trader. But on the phone, you have here a toggle which enables to receive the signals as a message. I can't show it to you here because it is a computer, but on the phone you can enable this. And if you want to receive the signals that I'm about to show you, you need to also enable the notifications on your device. The signal notifications on your device, okay? To enable the toggle and enable the notifications, and then you can receive also the signals, okay? All right, one way to get to the signals is obviously through here, the signal section. Another way is by choosing, you see that with two tiny arrows, I can minimize and expand the screen. In here, if I see an instrument with the blue lightning icon, this can also take me to the signal specifically for Aussie Japanese yen. So if I'll click it, you see it opens the specific signal for that. And I can expand the screen and do my analysis and also use this signal, okay, in whatever scenario I want. And I can also adjust if I want to. And I can also adjust the lot size as an example. And I'm using the signal, you see, from the outside, from the default screen. And that is great if I specifically want to see if an instrument has a signal or not. So for instance, I want to trade coffee and I want to see if coffee has a signal or not. Let's see, coffee doesn't have any signal. I see that corn has a signal and I can use it, but coffee doesn't have it. Now, if I would want to search coffee in the signal section, I can do this, but either I go through this long list of signals or I have to manually find it in commodities, which is not in here. So it's a huge time saver to just search it from the outside, whatever instrument I want. I want to trade NASDAQ. I want to know if it has a signal. So I click it from the list that appears right here, and we see that signal has NASDAQ has a signal. And clicking on it, then I can easily use it, right? That doesn't take 10 seconds. So of course, it doesn't make a lot of difference if you're using it from here or the signal section because it's the same signal. But to save you time and trouble to find it through this list, you can do it like I showed you from the outside. We're lucky enough to find it here as well, right? So it's here as well, but it could as well be, down there. Anyway, as you saw, to use the signals is very easy. Let's just speak a little bit about how it's constructed. You can see here by linear order, we have the newest to the oldest. Oldest will be down, so newest is up. And we can see that there is a certain value to begin with, which upon that scenario, we have analysis. And with the analysis, we have the signal. And if, for instance, I'll choose, let's say gold, so we can see that this is in a buy type. What does that mean, a buy type? That means in order for you to in order for me to explain to you what it means, I need to also explain to you about take profit and stop loss. Okay, so let's first open the signal, and let's also speak about take profit and stop loss just a little bit. Okay, let's expand that. And as you can see, because this is in a buy type, we have something called TP take profit, and it's higher than the current price. And we have a stop loss that is lower than the current price. What does that mean? It means that in a buy, our intention is always that the value will increase. That means that if I'm on a buy, my take profit needs to be higher. What does that mean? Take profit means that I can set automatically a price for the platform to remember, and my position will be closed automatically, reaching to that price, right? It means that I can target, but I'm looking at a different, you see, this is something you want to pay attention to before you move ahead with a signal, because this is a different picture than what we see here. So I can't get to the level, let's see, what level is that? 2786. No, this is way up there. It's way up there. You see, there is we can't get there. And why? Because those candles are daily candles, and the picture here we see is daily time frame. And in here, let's click in here at the upper left, we see we have 1 minute. Okay, so we need to scroll down, or we can click here on the thin blue line here, and we click here on the 1D, then we see the same picture. All right, and we can squeeze that down. All right, and now we can easily get to the levels that we wanted. And the level is 2786 is up here. Right, and then it will be my take profit. Now, what does that mean? So, as we've explained, take profit stops the position automatically with a profit, and stop loss stops the position automatically with a loss. How is this any useful? How we can take advantage of that? This is because this happens automatically, and I don't even need to be by the computer. So I can launch the signal and just go to do something else, and this scenario will be launched automatically. So again, let me just show you without the preparation how easy that is. So we click once, and then we click again, and we are on. That's it. I can just launch it like that. 2 clicks and I'm on the signal. Of course, I added these things for you guys to understand, right? What we saw with the levels. Okay, and one more thing I'm gonna throw into my explanation. It's not gonna be too much. It's just a little bit getting familiar. Those take profit and stop loss are based on resistance and support that are found in the signal itself. So I don't need to do here the analysis to have the lines, okay, because this is what I saw on the picture. Okay, now I don't have to do this. I can, like I said, in 2 clicks, I can launch the signal. But if I want to validate what's happening here and choose a scenario wisely, I can just copy this into the chart like I did, and I can do my observation. Yeah, I think that was pretty easy, right? Are there any questions? Anything that you guys would like to share with me at this stage regarding the signal section? Any questions, guys, before I proceed? That's the signals. This is a good question, Mario. Mario is asking, how can I know if an instrument will have a signal? But we cannot know that. We have to manually, like I showed in the beginning. You can't know when a signal will be. Oh, this is good for you to. It's good that you reminded me. Sometimes, as you can see, there are signals that looks like this. That means that the signals are not. Let me take something a little older. They all seem fine. Never mind. So let's take what we had up here. Just a second. I'll take something older. Let's take NZDJPY. No, it's still valid. I wanted to show you that sometimes, there we go. You see, sometimes when you're going to click on a signal, okay, and as you see, it doesn't happen a lot, but you have this line instead of a take profit and a stop loss. You only have the entry price. Okay, and the this message here is telling us that the scenario that we was supposed to have the take profit and the stop loss, as you can see, let's go this time with the sell. It doesn't really make a difference, but it's not going to work. Why is this not going to work? Because that has already passed. Those levels are already past. The levels that we see here, the market is past that. And that makes the signal futile. Okay, and the question that Mario asked, how we can know when there will be a signal for this instrument again, the answer is we can't. We can't. We need to wait for that to have signal again. Okay, as you can see, the signals are from the trading central. We're not making the signal in AvaTrade. Okay, I think we concluded this part here. Let's just carry on. You can, of course, enjoy this signal section, by yourself. And in here, if we go down a little more, we have the news section. It's quite self-explanatory. There are categories here. If you go down, as you can see in here, you can see which instruments are related to this article. So if you choose something like stocks and you open that thing again, you can see that this article can have an impact on gold, USD CAD, and USP 500, S&P 500. Yeah, if you go down a little bit more, we have here discovery. I'm not going to show you everything that is here. There is no point. Let's just go through Market Buzz real quick. And in the Market Buzz, you see Market Buzz is the second on the list. You have two ways to enrich yourself with an instrument to do research about. And you can have this view in two ways. One is a table with a list. You can just go through the list. Okay, the center will be the one with the most mentions online. I'm going to show you in a moment what it means. It doesn't really make a difference, but I think bubble is just a little more intuitive, I think. Let's click here on Apple. And we have here to the right all these articles. If I want to specifically target maybe price target lowered, or let's go with price target lowered. So it will only show me articles related to price target lowered, and I can specifically go to the article that I want, and I don't have to waste time searching. Of course, if I'm open-minded and I just want to know what's happening with Apple now, so I can just leave it open and go through those by myself. And yeah, I think it's all aligned very nicely. So you can see in here the overall mentions. I don't really think there is a point explaining all of that. You guys can see it's aligned very nicely. In here there is a difference in percentage. If you want to choose something else, you can just go back, choose something else. I think it's very intuitive, so you can just enjoy it by yourself. And one last thing before we proceed is the trading calendar, the economy calendar. So if I'll click it, it's 2 underneath market bus. So if I'll click it, we again see instead of categories, we have here flags. We'll click here on the tiny arrow, right? So I went down, arrow, and then I can see here all kind of events. The way that the calendar is constructed is with the previous result, forecast result is what we expect that will happen, some range, and we have the actual, which is the result. Of course, this will only be on events that already happened. We cannot know the result before the event took place. And as you can see, this red line is what separates the events that happen to the events that hasn't. And the font here is a little grayer than this, right? This is a little whiter, brighter white, what we see here. See, there is a little difference. Also, as we can see, it's separated by the impact. We have here low, high, and medium, right? And I can focus specifically on what I want. So for instance, I don't want to see low and medium. I'm not interested in that. Let me just see the high events, high impact event only. And let me see only the Aussie. Okay, we don't have any Aussie news today. So what I can do is you can see the blue circle here. Can you show how you would use all this to confirm? Yeah, of course. I'm just finishing here the first part, guys. I'm showing you things that are useful for later, because what I'm going to teach you today will be the basics, but at some point, of course, you would like to have a mixture of technical and fundamental analysis. So reading the charts and doing the numbers is one thing, and that's great, but you also want to know what's happening behind the scenes and what's actually driving the market, right? So this is the way. And as I was about to show you, you can click here on the date, you can click again on the followed maybe week, and then we see the news, and I can go to the event that I want, click here on the tiny calendar, and book it to my own calendar. What's more amazing than that? And then I have a notification, and I can directly go see the result, do the analysis. Amazing. If I want to reset everything, click here on the reset, again on the date, and I'm back. Right, so as the audience requested, let's get down to business. Let's open the second segment. At the moment, we don't have any instrument to play with, so we're gonna go down the list. Click on commodities because stocks are not opened yet, or maybe one of the indices. No, I'd rather take one of the commodities. To show, not gold. Corn has a signal, might be also interesting. Let's see how corn is looking like. All right. Yeah. All right. So that doesn't look too bad. Let's check days just real quick. And in days, very bullish. All right. All right, so before we begin the second segment, I'd like to quickly go through what we have here, which is the lovely toolbar. Let's click here on buy since we are very bullish. Of course, we can always change that. Also change the lot size to 0.01. Enable 3 of them, execute when price hits, take profit and stop loss. And as well, let's adjust maybe let's keep it like this. So if, for instance, I would know that I want to show you corn today, what I could do is I could just go like this, and where it says here silver, I can click, then delete, and put corn, choose it from the list. At the moment, as we can see, we're looking at days. If I keep going to the right, we have here days, so minutes, this segment, hours for this segment, days, weeks, and months. Keep going to the right, I can change here to the line instead of candles. If I keep going to the right, we have here the crosshair, which is very useful because we would like to analyze the candle. We cannot do that with no crosshair. So we're going to click on the arrow, click on crosshair, and then we have it. And then if I keep going to the right, we have here the layouts. We can change to different layouts. This way we can have multiple charts and analyze different things at the same time. Very, very, very interesting. Let's quickly go back. If I click on this FX indicators, I can add an indicator just by clicking and dragging it to the right. Let's take them as an example. Click save. All right. And if I keep going to the right, we have here all the, you saw I can put a note. I have here lines I can place as an example. I can also place maybe timelines that can help me assess, and I can also add all kind of interesting things. Yeah, this is pretty much the preparations you want to do before you begin doing any analysis. This way you can assess, like I said, a little better. Let's click here on buy. Since, like I said, we're bullish. Bullish, of course, is a reference for a bull lifting his opponent in the air, right? Bearish is a reference for bear slamming his opponent to the ground. Therefore, bullish means up, bearish means down. Let's write down corn. Okay, so I've customized the lot size to 0.01. As we can see, we have two tabs. In here, the order entry, we have the lot size, the margin impact, value, leverage, and spread. If I click here on instrument details, we have all kind of details in here. Overnight fee, the lot size, all of this necessary things, the time that it's opened. Let's go back to order entry. And now with this nice bullish trend in mind, we would like to do some analysis. So if I'll click here on buy, I have no further estimation how much I can gain, how much I can lose, how much money I'm using, which is this number, by the way. I have no estimation whatsoever. What I can do to help me design the position is I can set few ingredients that upon those ingredients, we'll have a little bit more idea where we are heading and how we can accomplish that. And with these ingredients, we can begin to set the target. This way, if I set the target of whatever number I have, let's say 1,000, then if I open the position and it goes well, I could go to the positions. If I see it's making 1,000, I click on the X and actualize my profit. Of course, if I don't have a target, so how will I know when to close it? It's based on analysis only. All right, so let's have a target of 1,000. I also need to think of a reasonable time. With as much as I'd be happy to make 1,000 per day, to make $30,000 out of a 10,000 account is possible, but can be very challenging. So I have to be realistic with myself. Let's go for a week. I think making 40% a month is maybe challenging as well, but is doable. So let's say 1,000 per week. So I'm going to change the time frame here as well, because now I'm not analyzing days anymore. I'm analyzing weeks. Click on W1. Now it's a little different chart. We can still work with that. We can still just adjust a little bit this to here and this to here. And that looks very, very nice. Let's also paint the upper resistance. Resistance will also be, as I said when I explained about the signals, resistance is higher points above the chart, like that, like this. Okay, support will be lower than the price. lower than the price, meaning as an example, this guy and that guy. All right, and if it will turn around, so this guy as well. All right, those are all support lines which we can mark and can be found in each and every time frame. Different levels, but you guys get the idea, right? So once I said this, I have a better idea where corn can get to and when. All right, and let's put this guy here. All right, and that's not bad at all. Let's also just quickly confirm that. Yeah. Okay, so at the moment, with a target of 1,000 per week, I'm still missing here the movements. What is the movements, Danny? The movements is the price difference that I'm looking for. For instance, corn at the moment is at 488, right? I hope that everybody can see that. Corn at the moment is at 488. 488 is, if I look again on the resistance, the next line of resistance is 494, right? You guys can see that. Maybe even 493.9, but whatever. Let's place it 494. So this is a webinar and we are learning. So we'll make things a little easier for us. So we'll make it this way. And now we can see that this is in difference from where we are. It's $6 away. All right, let's do it together with a calculator. Professionals. Okay. This is how far away the resistance is. And if I'll target the resistance, let's suppose 6, still don't know that. Okay. And let's confirm it. We can confirm it in 2 ways. One way is to go with my lovely crosshair and check last week. This is this week, this is last week. This is this week, this is last week. This is a week beforehand. How can I know that? Because, as you can see presented here at the upper left corner, we have this rectangle with the numbers. So if I point on the candle, it's going to give me the number. It's going to give me the date. It's going to give me the open, high, low, and close. And it's going to give me the DEMA as well, right? DMA. And then we can go back and see that this is last week. Excellent. What I can do now is I can subtract the open from the close, the high from the lows, and then I have how much corn moved last week, right? So for instance, if I'm going to take last week, which is the 13th, right? And I'm going to go open minus close, and then high minus low, and then hopefully I have how much corn moved last week. But the issue is that at the moment, it will be only one candle. And one candle is not an average of anything. It's just an individual. And in basic math, to have a healthy average, we need to take several intervals. And now to do this exercise with several intervals is very time consuming. So how can I know the average? I need to know if this $6 is realistic or not. Maybe if I'll only assess it by this week, it might move less, right? There are smaller candles in here. So what I can do is I can click on the indicators. Let's get rid of the DEMA for now and apply average true range. So we're going to go AVE for average true range. Click and drag it to the right. And we can also think how far to limit the ATR to be. Okay, so let's quickly assess if we have here more than 14 or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this is around where we are at right now. And that seems fine. That seems fine because the size of the candles hasn't changed too much, only about here. So 14 works for me just fine. Let's click here on type to filter, AVE, click here on ATR, click and drag it to the right. Let's keep it with wielders. At the moment, 1px is fine. Change it to the lovely mustard and click save. And at the moment, we can see that the average is indeed $14. $14 per week for a corn based on the past 14 weeks, right? Customize again to 0.01, and I'll click on take profit, and I'll click on, just a second. We targeted 6, thinking that this is the next resistance, and now I'm thinking that I'm looking at the next resistance line, and I'm thinking that with the average we're having here, it might be capable to surpass. Let's actually add the 14 to the current price and see what happens. Just a second. We will, of course, use a calculator for that. So 489 plus as if it would move on its average, and that's 503. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's quickly take that and just maybe I'll go for $10 instead. I'll go for $10 instead because I think this number 500, it might not get there. It might not get there. You see, there is each candle is it has the body, right, of the candle, and it has the thin tails. What is the difference between the body and the thin tails? Thin tails is where the market has been and turned around. The body is the beginning and the end. So when I'm looking at this candle and I see this 500 is a little bit tricky and it might turn around before, so I subtract the dollar by as a precautious. So now instead of looking for 14, we're only looking for 10, right? Let's make it down like this, yeah. And I'm targeting 488 as my entry, so just make it 488. And our take profit is 498, and that is great. And I'm still gonna write down in our book 14,797 equals ATR, and adjusted ATR or PAM, potential average movement, will be our 10, right? Okay. And now, when we have that in mind, let's quickly recap what we did. Okay. Initially, we had corn. We looked at the bullish trend. We all can see that, right? Yeah, this is what we're seeing. And we thought, okay, if we're going to take the position like this, we need to know what to expect. The price that we're targeting, is it realistic? Is it too far away? Is it too close? And then we have applied the ATR, as we can see, and we combined both of the target and the time length that we expect to hold the position to the ATR. Now we're looking at weeks. We have the ATR applied, giving us the average, and we compared also the average with the resistance. Now we see that the $6 we targeted initially was way too close. So we decided to expand the take profit, and it's $10 away instead of 6. And now we can compare it with our target and see how many units we need. We can examine at the moment the result and see that it moves $10 from 488 to 498, and it's giving us $10. All right, let's see what happens if I'll choose 2. Okay, so 2 gives us 20. About 3 gives us 40. 10 is giving us 100. All right, so we understand that for every unit that we have, Yeah, every unit. Every dollar on the chart equals to a dollar. This is why with $10 away, 1 equals to 10. With $10 away, 10 with 10, we get 100. If I add 100, I would have 1,000, which is exactly what we want. However, instead of doing all of that, what I can do is I can go target divided by movements equals units and simply take my 1,000 divided by the movements, and then we have 100. One lot size. Okay. If I'll check it with the lot size, click 1 on the lot, we have 100, which is perfect, exactly as we want. Now, if I'll go vice versa and take this 10 out of the 488, we'll have 488 minus 10, 478, and we can lose the exact same amount. Okay, however, this is a ratio that I might not like. What do I mean by that? Sometimes I want to set the ratio, okay, to be making to be 1,000, but to lose a maximum of, let's say, 250. Why do I want to do that? Because if I'll calculate the exposure of my current stop loss to my balance, and I'm going to go potential loss divided by balance equals X, and then X times 100 equals exposure percentage factor, which will be 10. How can I possibly know that? Because 1,000 divided by 10,000 equals 0.01, right? And then times 100. Let's quickly use a calculator for that. Okay, again, 1,000, our possible loss divided by balance. Oh, sorry, like that. And of course, equals 100 equals 10%. Yeah. Okay, and 10% might be a lot to a single trade. So how do I customize it to be 2.5 or even 1? What I can do is I can take the reference of what we took, this $10 away, and I understand that if for $10 we're losing 1,000, maybe we'll cut it by half. And instead of 488, if it's our entry, to 478, I can subtract 5 from here, which will be 483. And with 483, instead of $10 away, we're gonna be $5 away, like that, and then I can lose 500. So with the exact same agenda, I can cut it by another half, and instead of putting it $5 away, I can place it $2.50 away, which will be, of course, guys, the technique that I'm showing you now doesn't have to be the exact same way that I'm showing it to you now. Yeah, I'm only giving you guys the ability to assess and to customize your exposure. And I want you to see how much progress we have made since we've started. In the beginning, we analyzed corn. We had no idea what can be the result of this position. At the moment, we know all kind of things. We have here the possible profit. Execute when price hits is something that we didn't mention until now, but it does exactly what the name says. It execute the position when the price hits. So what it does is it launch the position when it gets to this price. Yeah. And you can set a cancellation date. If you, for instance, say, listen, if it doesn't happen until next week, just let it cancel the position. And in the meantime, I can just go to my positions and my orders, and I can cancel it by myself. But never mind. So as I was explaining in the beginning, we had no information about any of the preparations we have done. But at the moment, we have what we can lose, what we can gain, what we can lose. We also have a specific target to launch the price. And we now have a target. We have how long we're planning to hold the position. We have an average movement. We have an adjusted movement. We now know the lot size. We can of course reduce it, yeah, like this, and then say that maybe the 1,000 that we want will be done with corn, and another position like this will be with let's say apple as an example, or whatever else that gives me the ability to diverse, right? This target can be split, right, by whatever number I want. And then I can use this technique to modify my strategy, just embed those kind of positions, right? All right. Now, the last thing is to validate that we have the ability, the financial ability to execute the position. Yeah, to know that we have enough money to launch this position, since this is 100 units. Yeah, and we can see the 100 units cost 48,000. So does that mean that we need 48,000? Okay, let's see. We have something called price per unit, okay, which is this or that. That depends if it's bid or ask, buy or sell. Okay, price per unit times number of units equals value. Therefore, 488.5 times 100 equals 488.50, which is presented right here. Yeah, no need to do it by ourselves. We have the leverage here. The leverage is 1 to 10. What does the leverage? The leverage multiplies buying and selling. All right. And lastly, we have value divided by leverage equals margin impact. And margin impact is the necessary amount to open the position. Yeah. And naturally, if I'll divide 48,850 by 10, we get 4,000. We can just take that, honestly, and do it like that, right? Okay, also it's written here, so again, don't need to think too much. But if you're using MT4 or MT5, it's useful to know this calculation so you know where you're standing. Yeah, I think it's not too complicated, right, guys? Are there any questions until now? Anything you would like to share with me, guys? There's still 2 minutes, and I would like to answer if I can before the webinar ends. Can we? Yes, Shamira, you're asking if this can be applied on all the instruments. Yes, the answer is yes. All the instruments in our platform that are in contracts like corn is an example you can use, and you can use the formulas here. Everything here is universal. Okay, of course, currencies will be measured in pips and not with dollars. So the ADR here will look different. Will be 0.00 and not a flat number. And of course, if you're looking at a much larger instrument like NASDAQ, the ATR will be more considerable. Okay, that is depending on the value, and that depends on the time frame. But the rest of the things that we wrote down, all the 4 ingredients, what we have here at the bottom, it all can be applied. All can be applied. That's the reason why I'm teaching this technique. You can just use it for anything else, Shamira. with no problems at all. And you can diverse with it. Like I said, you can split the target, you can split the exposure. Yeah. All right. Other than that, guys, it's been a pleasure giving you the webinar today. I hope that you've learned at least one thing from the webinar. You're all welcome to join us to tomorrow live Q&A. Until then, I wish you best of luck with trading. Have a fruitful week and have a good day.